did I just watch? I feel strangely violated, but in a good way, if that makes sense. George Miller's got another film coming down the pipeline. This has got Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton, and it looks like we're on a wild ride with a genie from a bottle and 3,000 years of tales about the good and bad things that can happen with wishes. I'm intrigued. I can't wait to know more. I'm going to dive into that a little bit today. So, if this is your first time here, this is where I get to say, cool, welcome aboard. Hopefully, you like this video enough to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get updates like this in the future. And don't forget, you can always support the video with a super thanks, or you can join the Adventurers Guild down there. It's our membership platform. You can also check out the Patreon, which we'll talk about at the end. But for now, let's dive into this trailer. Let's dive into what is this film even about? Because I had no idea that this was even coming down the pipeline, and then all of a sudden this came out over the airways today because of the Cannes Music Festival. I'm really, 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 really interested in this now. I love all the actors involved. But I also like the mind of George Miller. So George Miller being most famous for the Mad Max franchise, but also he's done some other crazy stuff like The Witches of Eastwick, Happy Feet, Babe, Pig in the City. Like there's just he's done a lot of really good stuff over the years. But I feel like this is going to be something that takes us um, out of the box, really out of the box. By the way, George Miller's rumored as of 2020 to maybe be directing the next Mad Max spinoff Furiosa, which I don't know that that's happened yet, but it says on his wiki page that yes, it's coming down the pipeline. They're currently filming. That would be awesome if that's actually true. So, without further ado, 3,000 Years of Longing, from what I can understand here, from what I'm reading here, it says it's the 2022 epic fantasy romance film co-written and directed by George Miller. It's an adaptation of the short story The Djinn in the Nightingale's Eye by A.S. Byatt, which is basically about a scholar who is um, a scholar who is content with her life but encounters a djinn who offers her three free wishes in exchange for his freedom. Their conversation in a hotel room in Istanbul leads to consequences neither of them would have expected. This looks like it was a pandemic film that was pushed back. Originally supposed to begin filming in 2019. Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton were announced as being cast the same month. Filming was supposed to begin in late 2019, but actually didn't start until. Said filming began in March 2020, but then had to be delayed because of pandemic and began refilming. Man, I can't say that without waking up from my nap first. November 2020 in Australia. So it looks like The Djinn in the Nightingale's Eye is a 1994 collection of mythical short stories by British novelist A.S. Byatt. I've never heard of this before. The complete review over at complete-review.com. I'm going to read this real quick and then we can drop this into the chat for those of you who want to read this at your leisure. It says The Djinn in the Nightingale's Eye is a collection of 5 stories, 4 of which are quite short, and one, which is the title story, which is near novella length. The first 2 stories are familiar to readers, blah, 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 blah. I'm scrolling through here. Aha! The meat of the collection lies in the novella, which is a very successful piece. Dr. Gillian Perholt has a relatively happy, if unremarkable, existence. Her business is storytelling. Not that she pens tales, rather she is merely a narratologist, a being of second order. She is invited to a conference in Ankara to consider stories of women's lives and gets more than she bargained for at the conference, which goes much as expected, but she picks up a souvenir in the marketplace, a dusty glass bottle, thus called the Nightingale's Eye. And when she's cleaning it, a djinn is released from the confines of the bottle, and she gets the traditional 3 wishes. Familiar with fairy tale lore, she takes great care with her wishes and puts them to fairly good use. That is the official review from complete-review.com. We'll be linking that in the description below, so don't forget to check that out at your leisure. Something that I noticed from watching through this trailer multiple times now is that we're getting George Miller's distinct visual style. There is a lot of stuff going on here. There's also some really this trailer has a super cool soundtrack. Not gonna lie, like the music is pretty amazing. Like I've done this 3 times leading up to this. I'm gonna go watch it again after this. But we've got heavy pulses of music, and we're getting hit with lots of different flashes of the trailer. Um, and I see Idris Elba looking pretty fly in all of his different scenes, but he's also doing some weird stuff, like dripping oil into a bottle in one of the scenes, and then like he has like his fingers on fire, and he puts his finger out in his mouth. Like these are some pretty cool visual elements that are at play here, which are going to bring this to life. And this brings me back around to why can't we have more films like this? Like, why can't we have more cinematic storytelling of a different nature where we're actually getting unique, original stories instead of just grinding that Marvel superhero wheel and spinning out another superhero film after superhero film after superhero film after video game film after video game film after video game film after, whatever. I don't feel like we get a lot of original films these days, but this looks like it's going to be something that it sparks the imagination on all fronts, visually, narratively, audibly. Can I say that audibly? It's gonna hit you in all the feels and all the right places, and I think this is gonna be a movie that it's gonna be something that you walk away from going, "What did I just watch? I gotta go back and watch it again." Also note that he has a very big thing in here. It says only in movie theaters, so this is very much a filmmaker who is making a statement about fuck streaming. I'm only bringing this to the cinemas because this is meant to be explored in a cinematic environment on the big screen where you are just going to be bombarded with the visuals and the music and all the visual effects and everything else. Which kudos to them. Whom this is Dune. Dune is another good example. There are some films that are just meant to be seen on the big screen. The upcoming Avatar film is meant to be seen in 3D and IMAX. Like some films are just made to be that sort of experience. So I think this is going to be something that's really, really cool, and I'm looking forward to it. That being said, this sounds like it's a fairly straightforward story, and it looks to me like we're going to be getting a backstory of sort of like the Arabian Nights sort of tale, where the genie is going to be taking us back through um, all the bad things, maybe the good, but also the bad of what happened, because she's trying to figure out how to best use her wishes without screwing her life up. Now, the short story says that she managed to use them fairly well. The review of the short story does, so I'm interested if we're going to get that same ending with the film in the sense that we're going to get her actually doing stuff, which would be very, very interesting. Remains to be seen. Hmm. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you know more about this than I do, please drop those in the comments below because I'd love to know more about the book, that this is based on, or just if you know anything about the filmmaking because I haven't heard really anything about this until all of a sudden the trailer's dropping at the Cannes Film Festival. So this sounds really cool. Don't forget to like the videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon if you do like everything you saw here today, and I would love it if you would consider supporting my onward adventures of becoming a full-time content creator on YouTube. You can drop a super thanks on any of my old videos here. You can also join the Adventurers Guild with that button down there. That's the membership section here on YouTube. And of course, if you want to go above and beyond, you can go over to the Patreon page, patreon.com/wandering hermits for the world of the Weave and the Void, which I'm building with my brother and my wife. It's a 5th edition tabletop setting, a point and click adventure game, and a book series, all being done over at Patreon. So you can check that out at your leisure. And of course, don't forget, I stream almost every single day. We do World of Warcraft, EverQuest, EverQuest 2, Lord of the Rings Online, a lot of Xbox games, streaming in the mornings and in the evenings. So check those out. Don't forget to head over to our Discord. Links are down below if you want to come hang out with our community. Let me know your thoughts on this review, everybody, on this film, what you think it's going to be like. Look forward to talking to you more. Until next time, stay safe and happy viewing.